I think we should decriminalize heroin and make whatever he's on illegal. Because I've never seen this level of copium, like pure unadulterated copium. I'm saying it. All right, let's get to freaking will Koch's endorsement be enough for Nikki Haley to beat Trump? The answer is no. But find out after the ad break or during the ad break as long as you're subscribed. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Presidential campaign, and Nikki Haley just got a big old dose of it on Tuesday. The Koch-backed group Americans for Prosperity announcing it is backing the former South Carolina governor's bid for the White House. So, of course, the big question now, will the endorsement and all the cash actually offer up the momentum that she needs to give Nikki Haley a real shot at overtaking Donald Trump? The man with the answers, Harry Enton. No pressure, Harry, but what do you got?
I mean, look, I think a lot of people might say, okay, what the heck are the Koch brothers thinking if you look at the national polls? Look how far back Nikki Haley is. She's at just 10%. Donald Trump.
I'm going to be honest with you. This is the biggest fuck you to Ron DeSantis of all time because the Koch brothers' horse was DeSantis this entire time. For those of you who have been watching this space, quote unquote, or if you've been here for my coverage on the matter, if you recall when CPAC, I think, was happening, was it CPAC? There was a Koch-backed separate conference that Ron DeSantis went to, and the fact that the Koch boys have dropped little Rhonda and are now backing the Haley horse is wild. I think you believe the things you say and sincerely want to promote socialist values because you believe it is the best for everyone. No one ever falls for cheap price and low quality over total cost of ownership equality. I don't think you're a PRC shill, by the way. Wait, what? It's funny that every single piece of good news for Nikki Haley is like 140-year-old mega donor Bartholomew H.W. McRaces IV is now backing the surgeon candidate, and you look and her poll numbers are still single digits. The gap between Biden and Marianne Williamson, the RCP average, is 61.2 percentage points. The gap between Trump and Haley is 51.8. Now, these two aren't the same, obviously, but they're also not the same, if you know what I mean. Yeah. The fall off and the downfall of Ronald McDonald DeSantis needs to be studied in history books, okay? I've never seen a man so fucking propped up by the instruments of power within the Republican Party and fail so fucking hard, specifically on his own volition. The reason why Ronald McDonald DeSantis failed was because he consistently, one, had the worst instincts, and more importantly, was the worst retail politician I've ever seen in my life. Like every time he opened his mouth, people were like, oh my God, ew, please shut the fuck up. So bad.
Trump at 61%. She's not even in second place. Ron DeSantis is at 17%. And you might say, okay, this might just be emblematic of wealthier folks not liking Donald Trump nearly as much as you see in our latest CNN poll, incomes of $150,000 plus. You see Donald Trump is at 38%. Nikki Haley is far closer, 21%. So are they just biased in some sort of way? I don't think that's necessarily it, because if you take a look at the polls.
Dude, imagine having to run to this level of number crunching where you're literally like, well, I know that Trump is leading over Nikki Haley by fucking 50 points, okay? 51 points. But also, if you look at people over the income of $150,000, then at that point, Nikki Haley becomes much closer to Donald Trump. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. For the record, I think you're right that China's national EV strategy is better, and we were just talking at cross purposes. Mega and I were mostly reacting to the China owns all EV batteries narrative, which some use as fear-mongering to try to stop EVs, though you obviously weren't using it that way. No, I love glazing China. I love sucking on Xi Jinping's cock so that people can fucking realize that, you know, we, the wealthiest nation on earth, will maybe turn around and fucking build high-speed rail or EVs and you know, try to compete with China. Problem is, Americans are so fucking deluded, so dumb, so stupid, so self-interested, and such pathetic fucking losers that they unironically don't even want to do that, and they just go, no, we're just going to say all the things that they're doing are just bad. It's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying. We have one speed, dude. We have one speed. We're one track minded. We just got war on the mind.
Necessarily it, because if you take a look at the polls, In Iowa and New Hampshire, this is Trump or choosing Haley. You see, nationally, Trump's ahead by 51. But look at Iowa. Nikki Haley's at 16. Donald Trump's at 43%. Or you look at New Hampshire.
Oh my God, that's such a good fucking take. America is Riley Gaines. America's Riley Gaines if like Riley Gaines had all of the opportunity to be number one across the board. I love this. Look at this. Look at this incredibly favorable poll. Well, where Nikki Haley is still 20 points behind, 20% behind.
It's only a 22-point difference. So
22, Pog. She's slated to win.
I think they're looking at the early polls and saying, you know what, Nick?
Why do you say we? Why do you include yourself if you're clearly against it? What do you mean we? Bitch, I'm American. I live in America. Do I look like I live in China? Am I Chinese? Am I speaking Mandarin to you? Yeah, of course I'm going to say we. That's my point. Why am I covering American politics, I wonder? You know what I mean? Oh, fucking annoying.
Nikki Haley has a real shot of defeating Donald Trump, despite what the national polls are showing.
Okay, let's do the history then. Does she? What's the precedent here?
What is the precedent? Are there any candidates who have come back to win either Iowa or New Hampshire when they were down by 20-plus points at this point? Look at Iowa. George H.W. Bush won there when he was down by 20-plus points. Dick Gephardt in 88. New Hampshire, Gary Hart in 84. Pat Buchanan back in 1996. And here's the other thing that I think you want to take a look at here. Non-Trump voters who have made up their mind in the GOP primary, look at that. Just 24% in Iowa, just 29% in New Hampshire. There is this large anti-Trump vote in the GOP primary they think can move around, and maybe some money from the Koch brothers might help them move towards the Haley direction.
Dude, it should be... I think we should decriminalize heroin and make whatever he's on illegal. Because I've never seen this level of copium, like pure unadulterated copium, being pumped through the airways before. This is the copium equivalent of just straight up fucking putting a rubber band around your arm and just like grabbing it with your mouth while you simultaneously fucking inject, okay? Also, who's the audience for this analysis? A great question. Like, who is watching this? Who's this for? The Nikki Haley heads? Like, what are you doing? I don't get it. I don't understand. What the fuck? Oh, dude, it's so funny. I love this. It's great. It's great. Thank you. Thank you for the funny fucking moments.
Joining us now, civil rights attorney Maya Wiley, former deputy chief of staff to Congressman Adam Kinzinger, Maura Gillespie, and New York Times national political reporter Shane Goldmacher. So as we look at this, Shane, to you first, especially after this reporting, I mean, is this enough? Are there signs that point to it being enough to disrupt things?
I mean, I think the short answer is no, there aren't signs enough to disrupt Donald Trump. But I think this does have a big disruption in the campaign and in the
Bro, they haven't even brought up how fucking silly Ron DeSantis looks. Okay, it's been why haven't they talked about how bad this is for Ron DeSantis? Get to the fucking point. Nikki Haley is nothing, and so is Ron DeSantis. But it's awesome that the Republican Party and all of its mega donors are fucking desperately flailing their arms, just lobbing shit at a wall to see what sticks, and noticing that the shit that actually stuck originally, that they thought stuck, smells real bad. That shit is Ron DeSantis, okay?
primary, which is there's a primary inside the primary, which is Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley trying to be the one anti-Trump figure. And this is a really big part of that. This is a lot of money and an important group coming in and saying, we think that at this point in time, that candidate, it's Nikki Haley. It's no longer Ron DeSantis. And that's a disruption. Now, does either of them ever get a real one-on-one with Trump? Can they catch up to Trump? That's a different question entirely.
Maura, as somebody who's been in Republican politics, look, I think the Koch brothers became kind of the Democratic boogeyman. There's a ton of money, as Shane was noting. My question right now is, it's a grassroots organization that has a ton of volunteers with it, AFP, plus the money. Mm-hmm. What kind of juice do they have in this primary? Can they end Ron?
There's not a single fucking Koch operation that it would be declared grassroots. It is quite literally the definition of AstroTurf. I don't know what their ground operation looks like for Americans for Prosperity, but you cannot fucking say that shit is grassroots. What the hell? The grassroots Koch brother lobbying arm? Like, there is no reason for the term AstroTurf if you're going to call the Koch brothers, any operation Koch brothers has, to be grassroots. I actually don't get why he said that. I mean, I guess like the reason why he's saying that is because like they have like a ground operation. Oh, is he saying it was before the donation?
On DeSantis, can they elevate Haley to be the clear number 2?
I think what it shows us is that
he said AFP is grassroots.
they're putting their money and their team and their volunteers behind her because, again, what they started telling us earlier this year was anyone but Trump. It can't be Trump. And so they're really doubling down on that and pointing out that Ron DeSantis is also not the choice for Republicans. And so looking at the field that's left, they chose Nikki Haley.
Like, this is such a funny thing. Yeah, if you ask the Americans for Prosperity, they say they're grassroots. CNN should not say that, okay? Like, this is what they're talking about, which is Americans for Prosperity Action Committee, okay? This is quite literally the opposite of grassroots.
Who has the most momentum. And we have seen that her poll numbers have increased, especially after each Republican debate, which there's another one coming up. They're putting their money behind that. And I think it's telling as well that, you know, in Iowa, Kim Reynolds, she put her support behind DeSantis. Both these scenarios did not choose Trump. And I think that's really telling for what people who have some say in the party are letting us all know that we have to move beyond this because it's forward-looking.
Isn't that the whole issue? They picked 2 different people, therefore making it more difficult for the anti-Trump vote to the extent it exists.
But it's important to have choices. If we continue to follow along the Trump method, we will lose. And also our democracy will lose. Our Constitution will lose. And I think people are recognizing that within the party, the real dangers that are at play here, and they're looking for any other avenue but Trump.
And part of the memo, right, was that one of the reasons we think Nikki Haley is the person to put our money behind is because they believe she can bring in some of those independents, some of those moderates who have been turned off by Donald Trump. How are Democrats, Maya, looking at this morning? Yes, we recognize the state of where things are in terms of the power of Donald Trump and where he sits this morning, but is Nikki Haley seen as a real threat?
I'm going to go with Shane here. I think this is about the honorable mention in this campaign. I think it is interesting, and one thing that's particularly striking from the standpoint of the statement that they made about the extremism that Donald Trump represents and how Nikki Haley is the counter to that kind of flies in the face of their history of actually supporting getting Donald Trump not just elected, including, some of the work that they helped to fund in Wisconsin in 2016 and the ads that helped support him by going after Hillary Clinton. But, when you go back to the origins of why Donald Trump has been so dangerous for democracy, his lies about the election in 2020, this all goes back to the attack on voting rights that, frankly, was a signature of the Koch brothers that began, after 2008, and the efforts to make it significantly more difficult for Americans lawfully allowed to vote. And that's the origins of the great denial and the big lie. And that's something that we owe.
God, liberals are so fucking, they're so, the great denial and the big lie. Oh, God. Ay, ay, ay. Guys, stop. Stop trying to make fetch happen, okay? What the fuck? It's not sticking, man. It's not.
Frankly, to the Koch brothers.
It's so cringe.
And to Alex. So the roots of this very danger to democracy is essentially coming from the same folks that are now saying, oh, wait, now democracy's in danger.
Maya, to pull a piece of what you said at the top on the statement and talking about extremism, what's striking, I think Moore gets at this a lot when we talk as well, is there are a lot of Republicans who feel that way. There's no question about it. And yet, take a listen to, I think, one of those Republicans and who he'd support between Trump or Biden.
Isn't it good, though, if they don't drop, there was still Trump's electoral votes? No. I don't know. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is, none of them are going to put up a strong fight. Donald Trump's going to fucking dominate, most likely. And then all of the fucking big ticket donors are probably going to still back him with hopes that they can control him. And then they most likely will control him in the sense that they won't be able to control him, but Trump is still a billionaire operating on, his class interests and stuff like that. And therefore he will do all of that stuff. That is if he actually is the president. But then he'll do a shit ton more that will be really bad. So bad that it probably harms the stability that you have to have. Because remember, billionaires and millionaires and capital owners surely take advantage of the volatility on the ground, but there also has to be a state. There also has to be a stability. There has to be stability because if it's bedlam, then nobody's buying the jalapeno poppers, okay? And their goal always is to try and rein Trump in.
So if it comes down to Trump and Biden, which it most likely will, you're going to vote for Trump then?
Yeah, I'm a Republican.
Okay, so you will vote for Trump. Okay.
It's not going to be Trump and Biden, I'm telling you.
Bro, what are you saying? Chris Sununu, more like Chris Delulu, am I right? What the fuck? He said it's not Trump, man. Who is it? Nikki Haley? He's a Haley head. He's a Burgum. Dude, Burgum heads rise up, dude. He's a burger boy. That's why.
So you think
here's
it'll
one
be
for
another
you.
Republican and Biden?
So I will say this, and I mean this quite sincerely. The party that chooses to move on from Trump or Biden first wins.
Shane, to his first statement, and I think this isn't just a one-off.
He's right, though. Biden won't make it to November 2024. He's validating Edinger Menton's belief that Big Rich can win it all. I mean, I personally think that Chris Sununu is correct. It's just that it's not going to happen. And also, there's a really big problem with the Republican primaries or the Republican Party in general. If it's Trump, you lose a lot of moderates, potentially, depending on who's the Democratic Party's candidate and what they do and what happens between now and the election. However, if it's not Trump, you definitely have a bunch of Republicans who are not voting. Like, you're cooked. It's so fucked. It's so fucked. Are there any moderates left? Yeah, they're called fucking suburban Democratic voters now. That's what they're called.
Quote, this isn't just him saying something that's good sound. This is at the root of everything. If you're not willing to say, if it's not Trump, I'm going to the Democrats, doesn't that undercut what Moore is talking about here, coalescing behind anybody else?
I mean, this is just an ongoing challenge for a whole slew of Republicans, right? You have the former Attorney General Bill Barr, who said that Donald Trump was, not a good president and maybe a danger to this country. But if presented a choice between Bill Barr and a Democrat, well, between Donald Trump and a Democrat, he might go back with Donald Trump again. Look, the Koch brothers are actually doing something I think pretty notable here, which is they are swallowing.
God, I hate these pussies, bro. They're literally like, yeah, no, we'll still vote for Donald Trump. Like we're gonna vote for the Republican no matter what. Like, shut up. They're doing the vote red no matter dead. The vote blue no matter who version.
Some major disagreements with Nikki Haley on a slew of foreign policy issues
Vote red
in which they
until you're
disagree
dead.
with her. She's a hawk and they are not. And yet they're saying we're going to put that aside for the domestic issues where we think that Donald Trump is bad for the country.
And I think it speaks to a bigger issue here is that voters do not want to have another matchup between Biden and Trump. People are very disinterested and they are unmotivated. And unmotivated voters, it's going to benefit Donald Trump. So they're looking to get somebody else in there and doing so by putting their money behind Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley joins us now, Republican presidential candidate. Thanks for being patient
Whoa, Donald Trump can't keep hiding like Joe Biden.
with us. We just wanted to get the message there from Chuck Schumer. Good morning and welcome
For whom would you vote for in 2024? Jank. Don't care. Voting for Jank.
back here. Got a number of things to get through, but just a quick comment on this. We talked to Sabrina Singh from the Pentagon
Told you, man, I'm Uncle Pilled.
last hour. We asked her, is the full-fledged, full-throated support of President Biden still intact with regard to Israel going after Hamas? And she said, yes, nothing has changed. Do you see it the same way?
It's interesting.
What happened to you? Why do you want Trump to win? What happened to you? Why do you want Trump to win? What happened to you is a question you should be literally asking every person that works within the DNC every day. Like, you should be calling up the DNC and be like, what happened to you? Why do you want Trump to win so bad? What happened to you? Why do you want Trump to win? Not me. Not a fucking dying Twitch streamer with a fucking sub 20K live view count, okay? The motherfucking DNC is who you should be asking that question to, who keeps telling us like, no, Joe Biden, he's gonna go across the finish line. I promise he is going to be alive at the next election, okay? What is this? What do you think you're doing here? What are you doing? You have 2.6 million followers? Yeah, okay, dude. It doesn't mean shit. This has been the same in perpetuity, but it accelerated greatly under the Hillary Clinton campaign. Okay? Like, it wasn't Hillary Clinton that made any fucking flubs. It was actually those stupid idiots who didn't vote for her. Okay? You know Twitter's going to blame me if Biden loses? I don't give a shit, dude. What do you mean? Twitter is literally fucking poll at this point. Twitter is poll at this point. People are blaming me for October 7th. Okay? Ben maçayım kapıyı. It's never the Democratic Party's fault. Anne kapı açık. It's never the Democratic Party's fault. It's never the media's fault. It's actually random Twitch streamers. Yeah. People say I am the reason for why Ukraine was invaded. People act like I invaded Ukraine. People act like I fucking did October 7th. I don't give a shit, dude. People, you know.
Interesting, and I appreciate the senator's speech. I think it's important.
It's copium. Saying everything is Susan Sarandon's fault. Saying everything is Chapo's fault. Saying everything is my fault. It's just copium. These are people who are babies, okay? They're babies. They're behaving like little children. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to take ownership over the actions of the DNC. And then they fucking act like the Democratic Party as an institution is just a small bean. It's so weird. It's so weird. Do a better job.
For people to hear about it. But let's look at a few things about what's happening with anti-Semitism and then get into what's happening with Israel. First of all, let's stop talking about the dangers of anti-Semitism and do something about it. You have foreign money going into universities right now from Arab countries and Chinese countries.
No, you're so right. If the leftist vote was that important, we would have more of a say in policy, okay? If the Democratic Party took the leftist vote, not for granted, but instead like saw it as a valid constituency to defend and to actually fucking advocate for and actually listen to and actually, I mean, they would make concessions. They would listen to our demands. They don't give a shit because let's be real, nobody votes on that anyway.
Right now,
not enough
from
people
Arab
do.
countries and Chinese countries. Don't be surprised that we have.
What does she mean by this? Chinese countries? What the fuck? She's like 3-state solution to China. Hong Kong, Taiwan, China.
Pro-Hamas protests on our campuses when that foreign money is
Fuck
going
it.
in.
YOLO, actually 4-state solution. Tibet also independent. She's balkanizing China. Stop it.
Let's get the foreign money out of our universities. The second thing.
5-state solution. Macau, separate state. True. Dude, the states keep growing, dude. No, Taiwan gets Tibet as the ROC. Yeah, give Tibet back to its rightful ownership under the Republic of China. Tibet is now, never mind, we're back to 4 states. Tibet is now a part of Taiwan. Okay, we're slowly but surely building back to a 1 state. It's just the Republic of China. That's right. It's 1-state solution, except it all belongs to Taiwan. Shocker, Biden was only pretending. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan privately told Democratic senators this week that the White House was not seeking any conditionality on Israel aid, sources tell me, comes after Biden said last week that doing so was a worthwhile thought. Guys, color me surprised. Guys, I'm shocked. I really didn't think it would be like this. Very shocking news.
Thing is, look at all of the foreign bots on social media spreading disinformation, spreading pro-Hamas messaging, spreading anti-Semitism. There's a reason India banned TikTok. There's a reason Nepal banned TikTok. It's because it was causing social disruption. Our social media companies need to get rid of foreign bots that are on social media and show us the algorithms so that we can get all of that out. And then thirdly, let's go to our president. When you talk about what the press secretary said about Israel, the president is the one that refused to put anti-Zionism into the definition of.
Dude, you can't, there's no one that's a bigger Zionist than Biden. Biden is more popular as a leader in Israel than Netanyahu is. What are you talking about? It's, oh God, it's always a race to the bottom. She literally is saying until President Biden executes a Palestinian child, or even better, a Jewish voice for peace activist, anti-Zionist Jew on national television, because that is the greatest enemy of the Israeli state and the Jews across the world, of course. There's nothing more scary than an anti-Zionist Jew. Take one of them college freshmen that wear those not in our name t-shirts and fucking put a bullet in the back of their head, their they-them Jewish head, to show your real support for the state of Israel. How dare you? What are you doing here? What do you want? What do you want? He literally is just no unconditional aid. We love it. Please kill more children. We love it. It's so nuts. It's insane, dude. What the fuck?
of anti-Semitism. Anybody that thinks Israel doesn't have the right to exist, that is just as bad as if the KKK was out here spewing hate. That hate is—
Except, no, it's not from your perspective, because you literally would unironically ride for the KKK. Shut the fuck up. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. You motherfuckers ride for the Confederacy. You ride for the KKK. If Jewish Voice for Peace was the KKK, you'd be like riding for them. Shut the fuck up. If they were actually anti-Semitic and also simultaneously pro-Israel, you'd be riding for them.
Is exact.
She ain't white. I don't give a fuck. What do you mean she's running for the Republican? She ain't white. Okay, neither is Candace Owens. Are you gonna fucking sit here and be like Candace Owens wouldn't ride for the KKK? Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly the same as anti-Semitism. He needs to fix the definition and hold everybody to that standard. But more than that, Biden has gone and said he supports Israel. You don't put conditions on your friends. He should be putting conditions on Hamas. He's treating Hamas and Israel the same. What? Let Israel do what they need.
I agree. No, she's right. I agree. We should send Hamas Tamir interceptor missiles and the strike system. Okay? But then put conditions on it. I agree. Yeah. We should put conditions on the munitions that we are sending to Palestine, to the Palestinians, to Hamas. We should be doing that. Give Gaza an Iron Dome, but offer conditions.
Need to do. They want to save those hostages as much as anyone.
No doubt.
And all Biden has done from the beginning of this is put conditions on Israel.
This is the same energy as like motherfuckers coming in here and being like, I don't know if you saw this, but China is actually making the mosques all around China look more Chinese. That is the real Muslim genocide that you're not talking about. And I'm like, what do you want me to do about that? I'm an American. Okay, guess what, dude? Hey, China, no more subsidies, okay? No more aid until you make sure the mosques still have the round dome, okay? How dare you? No more fucking aid for you, China. Is that good? Are you happy? I'm telling China to stop. I'm telling Russia to stop. I'm telling everybody to stop. Okay? Do you guys now understand the difference between... Do you now understand the difference between like, why won't Biden put conditions on Hamas? The fuck do you mean? Also, what conditions did Biden place on Israel? John Kirby has literally been blowing bubbles on Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant's dick, gargling that shit every fucking day, openly saying, hey, guess what? No red lines, no red lines, no red lines. As many babies as you want, as many. Read my lips. No red lines. Read my lips. You see the cum on them? That's Yoav Gallant's cum, okay? Kill as many children as you want to. And Nikki Haley's still like, Biden is doing conditions on Israel. It's fucked up.
Okay, on that, 47 days to Iowa. Ron DeSantis is coming after you. He's going to pull the full Grassley on Saturday. He says your establishment with your positions, you're fundamentally out of step with the Republican voters. What do you think of that?
I think that's what a candidate says when they're losing. You know, I mean, I think you look, there's nothing establishment about a candidate who was the Tea Party candidate who ran for governor. There's nothing establishment when you have Americans for Prosperity, the most conservative grassroots organization in the country, come out and endorse me because they like my economic plans and my plans for the future of America. You know, I think he's saying what he has to say because he's grasping at this point, but we're staying focused. Our goal is to win the support of every Iowan, every Granite Stater, every South Carolinian, and every American. We're going to keep on working harder than everybody else and keep working smarter than everybody else because we have a country to save.
There's more on that.
So you have a couple of other competitors, right? And so Donald Trump is one of them. And his spokesperson said this, that Americans for Prosperity has already lit millions of dollars on fire this primary, only to watch President Donald Trump's lead grow. No amount of money can break the bond President Trump has with voters. He kept his promises. And Chris Christie said about you that she should either run against Trump or don't run against Trump. If you're running for second place, tell everyone you're
Do you think us protesting is doing anything? I won't stop. Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
running for second place.
I mean, think about, look. This is a part of America's beautiful, robust democratic process. Okay? Obviously, if it was a real democracy, I'm certain that America would have acted way faster, or the American government would have acted way faster. However, no, constantly taking it to the streets, constantly fucking protesting, absolutely is working. It is. We went from every single Democratic and Republican Party politician being like, shut the fuck up, eat this lead, you fucking Palestinian children, you Palestinian babies, you deserve this lead, to, okay, maybe we should do a ceasefire, actually. I know it took 15,000 murdered Palestinians and also a ton of fucking munitions being sent over, both quietly and privately, in an unceremonious way. But yes, those protests are incredibly meaningful. Incredibly meaningful.
I know that you're not running for second place. That's what you say. How do you respond to two of these competitors who think that?
Think about it this way. Leading up to before, on October 6th, support for Palestine was marginal. It was nothing. Okay? On October 7th, it was even less so, obviously. Since then, 2 months have passed, and support for Palestinians have grown considerably. And for the record, people say America's aid is nothing for Israel. America's aid is nothing for Israel. They say it all the time, right? They're like, this is a narrative I hear now as Biden has gone back and forth on whether we should give Israel aid or not, or offer conditions on that aid, right? And that, like, it's a minor blip. Oh, it's just like 5% of the GDP, like it's nothing. Okay? If that was the case, then why the fuck is the Israeli account, Benjamin Netanyahu, everyone but Itamar Ben-Gvir and Smotrich basically doing English-speaking interviews? Benjamin Netanyahu has appeared on American media more than he has appeared on Israeli media. Okay? Why is that? Everyone that says America's aid, first of all, only starts and ends with munitions is fucking delusional. That's number one. Because beyond that, we're the veto power for the UN. Like, we have the capacity to literally stop other countries from engaging with Israel with trade. You know what I mean? We could put sanctions on Israel. Like, we have, like, starting that process and dramatically changing the dynamic, the relationship that we have with Israel would be incredible. It would stop Israel dead in its tracks overnight. That'd be a massive difference. And all of the people that fucking cope or talk about how, like, no, Israel could operate without America's go-ahead, they would recognize how wrong they are immediately. This is something that the Israeli government recognizes. Okay? Anyone know if Hasan covered the boy with the broken hands appearing in video being released without broken hands? Yes, I did. And no, one of his hands was broken. And there's medical documents as well. I covered it earlier in the VOD. You can go check it. But also, you should ask yourself why you immediately went, this kid probably is lying. This terror, baby. Baby terror. I think both of his hands are broken. Yeah. Anyway, after we all rightly condemn Hamas' atrocity on October 7th on program, I read Ted Cruz, a list of genocidal rhetoric coming from Israeli officials, and asked him if he would condemn it as well. I condemn nothing that the Israeli government is doing, he said. The Israeli government does not target civilians. They target military targets. Our exchange. Why are they so bad at their targeting then if they're killing so many civilians? So they're actually not. So then they are targeting civilians. No, I can tell you there is no military on the face of the planet, including the U.S. military, that goes to the lengths that the same Israeli military goes to avoid civilian casualties. Dude, what is this dick riding, dude? What is this dick riding? Have you no shame? I mean, yeah, it's Ted Cruz. Of course he doesn't have any shame. Dude, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Ted Cruz is spinning on it, dude. He's spinning on it. He's doing tricks. He's blowing bubbles on it. What the fuck? But the IDF says they're focused on damage, not precision. Yes, damage to Hamas, the terrorists. No, they have said the opposite. They keep saying that they're doing this. And what they're intending to do here is, in the United States, what we say, that's not what they're doing. That's simply not true. They're targeting terrorists. Are they lying? No. My focus is on damage. Good. Damage Hamas. That's what he said.
Distinguish between opposition to Zionism and anti-Semitism, or do you believe that those are the same thing?
I think anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.
What do you say to so many different Jewish groups who say that they are anti-Zionist?
So the ones that are radical leftist organizations that look, There are 50 some odd Muslim nations on the face of the planet. There's one Jewish nation, the state of Israel. The modern state of Israel was formed coming.
I love this argument. It's like, why can't we do a little bit of ethnic cleansing? Like, come on. By the way, fucking Ted Cruz, evangelical Christian Ted Cruz, being like, why can't Jews have one? Why, there's just a little bit of ethnic cleansing now. There's only one. Come on now.
Out of World War II, coming out of the wake of the Holocaust.
Like, this is such a ridiculous argument, always and forever. Jesus Christ, dude. It's literally always the same nonsense. Like, what the fuck? There is not a single place where this argument works. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, come on. Why can't they have a little bit of ethnic cleansing? You know what I mean? Why can't they do it? Nobody is saying you can't have a Jewish state. The point is, you can't have a Jewish state on top of a Palestinian state while simultaneously ethnically cleansing all the Palestinians there. Okay? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And it was formed on the premise that never again means never again, that we would not allow 6 million Jews.
So where? What do you mean, so where? There's no, like, let us have one somewhere where, like, people are living and maintain it by, like, killing all the people that are there. Okay? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know if you know this, but I'm very much a no ethno state type guy. My only point is it's impossible. Oh, shit. Well, I guess sucks to sucks then. Like, what do you mean? Dude, listen to me. Listen to me, okay? Yeah, no shit. It's impossible unless you do ethnic cleansing. So if your other, if the other opinion that you hold on to, and I hope you do, is that no one should do ethnic cleansing, then yeah. What do you think is the right thing to do now? Like, especially when the most damaging aspect of Israel being a single, solitary, secular state is that they have to coexist with a bunch of fucking Arabs, dude. That's the big fear. And non-Jewish Arabs, I mean, because there's plenty of Arab Jews. It's just that because Israel is an ethno state, they classify Arab Jews there as Jewish, and then they classify non-Jewish Arabs as Arab. No, agreed completely, but how can you say Jews can have their own state? They literally can't. No, I'm saying this in and of itself, okay, why can't Jews have a state in and of itself, like for themselves, is a ridiculous statement. There is no fucking way to make this happen. Okay? There's no way to make this happen without ethnic cleansing. And if you can't have it without ethnic cleansing, then you can't have it. Also, whenever motherfuckers go, dude, it's so fucked up that there's like 50 Muslim nation states. It's like, you, as a Christian, could immigrate, not that you would want to, but you could immigrate to most of them, if not all of them, for the record. Okay? I guess Saudi Arabia would be like the one that you can't go to.
To be exterminated by genocidal, racist.
Where's the Zoroastrian state? All of them? Really? How many have you lived in? I mean, I lived in one, and I know for a motherfucking fact you could actually immigrate with ease to Turkey. I know there are plenty of non-Muslims that live and work in Saudi Arabia. Yes, I meant like become a citizen. Non-Muslims that become a citizen. Well, I guess even that's like, Saudi Arabia has a fuck ton of American military bases and American companies in the oil business. So there are plenty of Americans that live there.
Maniacs. I think the Jewish people deserve to have a home cost. And it was formed on the premise that never again means never again, that we would not allow 6 million Jews to be exterminated by genocidal race.
To be fair, you can't even be I don't think you can fucking immigrate to Saudi Arabia as a Muslim and become a Saudi citizen. A lot of the Gulf nation states have very rigid rules on who gets to be permanent citizens because there's like a shit ton of money that they give to the citizens. I guess you'd have to be like really rich.
Racist maniacs. I think the Jewish people deserve to have a homeland that is theirs. Israel was historically a Jewish nation going back thousands of years. I've walked in the city of David. I've walked on the streets where Jesus walked down the streets. And anti-Zionists, look, when you see leftists chanting from the river to the sea, that means from the Jordan River to the sea. It literally means obliterate the mind.
I do want to point once again that Ted Cruz was a fucking big-time advocate for keeping Confederate monuments on the basis of free speech and, you know, remembering America's history. But of course, from the river to the sea, no, unacceptable. No more free speech. Sorry.
Modern state of Israel, because they hate Israel and they want to eliminate the only Jewish nation in the world that is racist and genocidal. Now, you asked earlier, would I ban that statement? No, I'd allow people to say it.
Oh, damn. Okay, never mind. I was wrong.
Members of the squad have tweeted out from the river to the sea. But the answer, I'd allow them to say it, but I wouldn't sit there quietly. I'd point out that you are calling for, once again, the extermination of millions of Jews.
As I'm sure
You said you're allowed to say it, but you should be fired.
you know, though, in Likud's platform, it says, you know, from the river to the sea, there will only be Israeli sovereignty. You know, are they suggesting genocide of all Palestinians?
Of course not.
Exactly. So if they're not, why is the other suggesting genocide?
Because that's what Hamas supports.
Oh, God. It's so good. It's so stupid.